So Paige Bueckers is, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Like, she is the number one overall pick because of what she did when she was 19. She's now 23. She is the number one overall pick because she won National Player of the Year in 2021. There is absolutely no reason that Paige Bueckers should be the number one overall pick. Like, there are certain things when it comes to number one, when it comes to franchise-changing players, franchise-altering players they have, in terms of characteristics as players. Paige Bueckers has none of them. I will say this, though, as far as a talent goes, Paige Bueckers is as talented a player as has ever been. Like, her all-around game, she has no flaws. Good defender, didn't shoot well today, but like 8 assists, was passing really well. And her all-around game is something really nice that people, again, can almost ignore, but she's not even the best player on her team. And like, people have killed me for this, but I'll stand by this. Sarah Strong is better than Paige Bueckers. She's averaging basically the same assists, more rebounds, basically the same points on the same field goal percentage. And by the way, when the going gets tough, the ball is put into Sarah Strong's hands to go make plays. Paige is pretty good in the fourth quarter today. I did like the fact that she stepped in with confidence to hit that three, but she doesn't have any ability to create from the three off the dribble. Like, she can't hit a pull-up three. She's hit one pull-up three since like October or November, whenever the first couple of weeks of games. Like, she's barely hit a pull-up three. 5 of 16 again today is, look, you can live with those shooting numbers with the overall game. But like, it's just, why is it whenever they lose, she does it? In any close game they've had, she is quiet. She is. Like, if you look at their 3 games they've lost, she was very quiet against Notre Dame. I don't care about what the box score says. I watched the game. She was very, very quiet against Notre Dame. They lost by 11 points. And what did Paige have? She had 25 points, 11 to 20. It was the weirdest 25 points because she was just quiet. She did nothing when it mattered. It was coming down the stretch. And to be fair, like, Notre Dame just didn't miss either. She was quiet. Sonia Citron did a great job on her. When it came to USC, Paige Bueckers, basically, she willed the team back into the game in the third quarter. And then she took one bad shot in the fourth, the kind of fast break three, which would have given them the lead. And after she missed that, it was like, oh crap, I took an inefficient shot. Let me just stop. Right there. I took an inefficient shot. I'm not meant to do that. So let me just stop taking shots and just go back to being passive Paige. Like, she has so much talent. And that's the most frustrating thing about Paige Bueckers, is she has so much talent. And she shrinks. And this is somebody who, historically in her career, has stepped up in the bigger games. Reese, she has shrunk. This year, she has shrunk in the bigger games. And I know it's only a 1-year sample size of 4 years. I'm sorry, but it's the most recent year. She is a super senior. She was meant to be the best player in the nation, and she's not even going to make the first team. She's not even going to be an All-American first team. All-American, sure. If in good faith, you cannot, and I mean this, you cannot put her ahead of Tanaya Latson, Lauren Betts, Hannah Hidalgo, Juju Watkins, Flaw J, or Anissa Morrow. In good faith. She's not the best player on her team that have lost pretty much every game. Like, they've not won a close game. Anytime a team hangs with them, they lose. They lose. They don't have that closer. They don't have 2021 Paige. 2021 Paige will go number 1 in this draft, no question about it. Freshman Paige. Like, people do not understand how good freshman Paige was. And like, I get it. You could argue Caitlin was a better freshman, but it was close. Freshman Paige was so good that they were talking about maybe changing the draft eligibility to allow her go in after 1 year, or they're pushing for that. Like, freshman Paige might have been better than freshman Juju. Like, that's how good freshman Paige was. And that version of Paige Bueckers doesn't exist anymore. That killer does not exist anymore. That player who, for no other way to describe them, was a hooper. Was an absolute hooper. She was a gamer. She just went out to win. And now she's so focused on efficiency that it takes a lot away from her game. And again, I'm not even going to blame that today. Like, I kind of watched her play. She was running the point a lot more rather than playing off the ball. She just looked, I know she hit that big three, but like, they were down like 6 points, about 6 minutes to go, and I see her pull up, and she airballs a shot about a foot short. Like, for me, with Paige, it doesn't even seem half the time like she backs herself. I don't think she backs herself in the clutch. I don't think she backs herself down the stretch, because she has all the ability in the world to take over games. But when it's close, she doesn't do it. She chooses not to take over games. Like, that is the problem with Paige. It's a choice. It is a choice. It's nothing to do with her ability. It's nothing to do with her game. And it's hard to coach that out of somebody, but it's because I don't know if it's been coached into her, or I don't know who's got it into her head that efficiency is all that matters. And you hear this from like high-level pros, really, really high-level pros all the time. Efficiency is important, but aggression is more important. It is better to be aggressive and inefficient than efficient and passive. And if efficiency comes at the expense of aggression, it is a bad thing. And that is the issue with Paige Bueckers. Is I know she gets her shots up. She gets the shots up. If you're a box score watching Paige Bueckers, you're watching these games and you're like, okay, yeah, she took this many shots. Why are people asking her to take more shots? It's when she shoots them. There are certain times in games where it's not an analytical spreadsheet. It's not a sheet. Times when it is like you're watching these games and it's purely eye test, where it is, humans have to. Sometimes certain players need to step up at certain times in games. Things like momentum in games, certain plays to swing that. There's no analytics to show that. And they're the moments where that's what Paige Bueckers is the weakest at. If you were judging by a spreadsheet, Paige Bueckers is the greatest guard prospect of all time, maybe including Caitlin Clark. But basketball is not a spreadsheet. And Paige doesn't have what she walked into college with. There was a level of flair that Paige Bueckers had in high school. There's a level of flair that she has as a freshman. She just had this almost belief in herself. And I think she's lost the belief in herself. She has lost the belief in herself to take and miss bad shots. Because, like, if you look at the greats, if you look at the Caitlin Clarks, if you look at the Jordans, if you look at the Kobes, these guys were willing to take and miss bad shots because they had that much confidence in themselves. They never second-guessed, especially when the going got tough. They never second-guessed themselves. Whereas Paige Bueckers is so focused on making the right play, when sometimes the right play is calling her own number late in games. Sometimes the right play is being aggressive. Like, she's superb off the ball. She's a superb spot-up shooter. And in fairness to her, I'm not saying she's not clutch. I'm really not saying she's not clutch. There's just something watching her that's missing. There's just not that switch. That all the great players have this switch where they're like, okay, it's my time. It's my time. I'm winning this game. And Paige Bueckers had that switch as a freshman. She doesn't have that switch anymore. Like, I don't think she's the best player on this team. I know it's a crazy statement. And also, AZ Fudd is going to be drafted in the first round based on high school hype. Paige Bueckers is going to be drafted 1 based on freshman year hype. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, if you were realistically Paige, based on this year and how poor this senior class is in comparison to other class at the top end, I'd still take Paige. If her name wasn't Paige Bueckers, I'd still take her third, because she's way better than Sonia Citron. But like, if she was not Paige Bueckers, if she didn't have this hype for years, there's no way she's going number 1. And it's just frustrating watching a player with all the talent in the world and just doesn't have that little bit of killer instinct to become one of the best players college ball has ever seen.